Kendrick Johnson was a 17-year-old high school student from Valdosta, Georgia, whose mysterious death in 2013 shocked the community and gained widespread attention. His case, marked by unanswered questions and accusations of a cover-up, has led to ongoing debates about racial tensions, police investigations, and the lack of transparency in the handling of the case. Kendrick Johnson was found dead on January 11, 2013, inside a rolled-up gym mat in the Lowndes High School gymnasium. The mat was upright, and Johnson's body was discovered by students during a routine class period. His body was wedged in such a way that his feet were sticking out, and his head was positioned deep inside the mat. Initially, law enforcement officers ruled his death as an accidental death resulting from asphyxiation, theorizing that he may have crawled into the mat to retrieve a sneaker, but got stuck and suffocated. However, the circumstances surrounding his death quickly became suspicious. Johnson's family and others did not accept the initial explanation, and they called for further investigation, leading to a prolonged and complex legal battle. The investigation and autopsy. The official cause of Kendrick Johnson's death, as stated by the Lowndes County Sheriff's Office and the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, GBI, was positional asphyxiation. According to their report, Kendrick was trying to reach for a sneaker inside the mat, but he became trapped and suffocated. This explanation was widely questioned, given the highly unusual nature of the incident and the lack of evidence to support the theory. One of the main points of contention involved the conditions of the scene where Kendrick's body was discovered. Critics, including the Johnson family and their supporters, noted that it seemed improbable for someone to get stuck in the way described by the investigators, especially given the mat's dimensions and the fact that Kendrick was found in an awkward and seemingly unnatural position. In the months following the discovery, the family sought an independent autopsy. The results from Dr. William Anderson, a forensic pathologist hired by the Johnson family, contradicted the initial findings. Dr. Anderson's report concluded that Kendrick Johnson's death was not accidental but likely a result of blunt force trauma to the neck, suggesting foul play. The idea of foul play emerged strongly due to several factors. First, there were discrepancies in the investigation and evidence collection. The gym's surveillance footage, which might have helped clarify the events leading to Kendrick's death, was reportedly destroyed or never properly reviewed. Additionally, the position in which Kendrick's body was found seemed inconsistent with the explanation of accidental asphyxiation. 7. Involvement from other students at Lowndes High School. The Johnson family and their supporters pointed to two brothers, Brian and Brandon Bell, who were reportedly seen in the gymnasium around the time of Kendrick's death. The Bells were athletic students at the school, and some suggested that they might have had a conflict with Kendrick, leading to violence. However, no conclusive evidence linking the Bells to Kendrick's death was ever found. The involvement of these students became a major point of suspicion, particularly when it was revealed that the Bells were not questioned thoroughly by the authorities, and their testimony was inconsistent with the timeline of events. Despite this, the case was closed in 2013, and no charges were filed against the Bell brothers or anyone else in connection to Kendrick's death. Media attention and civil rights implications. The case of Kendrick Johnson garnered significant media attention, particularly as his family raised concerns about the role of racial bias in the investigation. Kendrick was an African-American teenager, and his family suggested that the authorities were not giving the case the seriousness it deserved due to the racial dynamics at play. The Johnson family, supported by activists and various civil rights groups, including the NAACP, pushed for greater transparency and accountability in the investigation. The case became emblematic of concerns about racial disparities in law enforcement and the treatment of African-American victims. The family's fight for justice was also influenced by the broader context of police handling of cases involving black victims, bringing national attention to the issue. Legal battles and attempts for justice. Despite the official closure of the case, Kendrick Johnson's family continued to pursue legal action. In 2015, they filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the Bell brothers, their father, and several school officials. The lawsuit alleged that Kendrick had been the victim of a violent act, and that the school and local authorities had engaged in a cover-up. The Johnson family also accused local law enforcement of mishandling the investigation, failing to preserve critical evidence, and not pursuing leads that might have led to a different conclusion about Kendrick's death. As of the mid-2020s, the case remains open, with no clear resolution. The Johnson family's legal efforts, as well as calls for a more thorough investigation, continue to bring attention to the case. In 2021, the U.S. Department of Justice announced that it would review the case for possible federal civil rights violations, but no federal charges have been brought against any individuals involved in the incident. The death of Kendrick Johnson continues to be a source of controversy, raising difficult questions about race, justice, and accountability in law enforcement. Despite multiple investigations and autopsies, the circumstances surrounding Kendrick's death remain unresolved, leaving his family and supporters frustrated with the lack of answers. His case has sparked broader conversations about the treatment of African American victims of violence, the reliability of local law enforcement investigations, and the challenges of seeking justice in a system that is sometimes perceived as flawed or biased.